as well as in both the Old and New Testament of the Bible. The process of bearing witness was not intended to lead to the death of the witness, although it is known from ancient writers, like Josephus, for instance, that witnesses, especially of the lower classes, were tortured routinely before being interrogated as a means of forcing them to disclose the truth. During the early Christian centuries, the term acquired the extended meaning of a believer who witnesses to his or her religious beliefs and on account of this witness endures suffering and death. The term in the English language is a loan word and used only with the extended meaning of someone who has been killed for their religious belief. The death of a martyr, or the value, attribute, or attributed to that person, is called martyrdom. And we hear a lot of this in the news today. Suicide bombings, suicide missions, that person, ignorant, mistaken, not having real knowledge about Islam, thinks that he's a martyr. In Roman mythology, Cupid is the god of erotic love and sex. He's equated with the Greek god Eros, and another one of his Latin names, Amor. And for you guys that listen to music back in the days, because you don't do it now, walillahi alhamd, inshallah. You remember the song by Stevie Wonder, My Cherie Amour. The Latin word for Cupid is amor. In popular culture, Cupid is frequently shown shooting his bow to inspire romantic love and sex, often as an icon of Valentine's Day or Valentine's Day. As for worship, the definition of worship in Islam is everything that Allah loves or is pleased with. And there are other definitions. Everything, as Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, he said, worship is everything that Allah loves and is pleased with, whether it is seen or unseen, done with the tongue, the heart, or the bodily limbs. This is one of the definitions of worship or ibadah. As for holy, we find in the Arabic language one of the names of Allah, which is Al-Quddus. We also find the word Al-Qudus, like Al-Ruh Al-Qudus or Ruh Al-Qudus, for the angel Gabriel or Jibreel or Jibrail, which are the two ways that are permissible to pronounce his name, Jibreel or Jibrail, coming from the Hebrew language, which means Abdullah. Jibr means Abd and Il means Ilah, Abdullah. Ruh al-Qudus, they translated it as Holy Spirit. But there's none holy except Allah. None. He is Al-Quddus, with the shadda, Al-Quddus. And when we were on a Umrah a few years ago, at the Muhaddith and Sheikh's house, Wasiullah al-Abbas, Hafidhahullah, may Allah preserve him, I asked him, there's some problems, there's ishkal, there's a problematic issue when we look at the translation of Ruh al-Qudus, the Holy Spirit. How do we understand that? Because Allah is the only one that is holy. He said the word Qudus with Jibreel means Mubarak, blessed spirit, not Holy Spirit. Al-Quddus is the one who is blessed and pure, who is exalted above all impurities, all imperfections, all shortcomings, all defects. It is synonymous to Subhana. When we say Subhanallah, when we were Christians, we used to say, glory be to God. Meaning, Subhanallah, meaning He's far above and removed from any impurities, any filthy ideologies attributed to Him, any anthropomorphic, humanistic qualities. He is Al-Quddus. He is divine, and anything that is divine or holy cannot, will not, and never be human. You cannot be holy and divine at the same time. It is impossible. Once you are divine and holy, you cannot have needs. And this is why we say Allahu Samad, which has 2 or 3 basic meanings. And one of them is that He is independent and He is indivisible. So Al-Quddus is the one who is blessed and pure, totally divine with no imperfections. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, according to Shaykh al-Islam al-Thani, the second Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyyah, he said Allah is Al-Quddus because He is far above having any opposites, any rivals, any partners or sons. And it's important to state any opposites, because there are people other than the Muslims, and maybe even some Muslims, Allahu Musta'an, who believe that everything has an opposite, even Allah. God has no opposites. Some people believe that the opposite of God is Satan, and this is not the case. So Ibn Qayyim, he says that he is described as being perfect and is far above having any faults or shortcomings at all. He's far above anything being near Him or like Him in any aspect of His perfection. As for holy, we've already defined it, and the word holiday is a contraction of 2 words, holy and day, which lets us know from the definition of holy that there's no such thing as a holy or holiday in the strict sense of the word. No such thing. Because days, like months, like weeks, like years, are created. And there is nothing that is created that is holy. St. Valentine's Day, or St. Valentine's Day, or now commonly called Valentine's Day, according to non-Muslim sources, is a saint's day, commemorating Saint Valentine on February 14th. It is the traditional day on which lovers express their love for each other, sending Valentine's cards, donating to charity, or giving candy. It's very common during that particular day to present flowers. The holiday, according to non-Muslim sources, is named after 2 men, both of them Christian martyrs. Now we see why it's important to define those terms. Both of them were Christian martyrs, among the numerous early Christian martyrs, named